So this is inspired by Feeling Blocked by Limiting Beliefs ? Watch this by Sabrina Weibel. Not too sure, it just came up in my recommended. She's got 12 likes now, 12th being me. I don't know why, because this shit is gold, but I'm gonna put it in my words. Check out the OG video if you want a better explanation. What I'm taking from it is the title of this video. Forget therapy, quantum leap instead. You can go to therapy. Yes, therapy's good. But the reality is most of us don't have access to it. We don't have access to diving into our limiting beliefs, what happened in our childhood, yada yada, because we don't have the money, we don't have the time. What do? Well, have you heard the saying that what you focus on grows? It's funny because I was just talking to my friend actually on the phone about something, and it was to do with like getting a person and their attention and stuff like that. And there's this quote from an Anila Sita video, something about getting them obsessed with you or some shit, and she said something that really stuck with me. I love it, and most of you, if you follow Anila Sita, like, you'll feel this too. She said this thing, she's like, you're a baddie, why are you stressing so much? Take the title of this video. Most of us don't have access to therapy. We can't go and spend hours and hours going into our limiting beliefs, into what didn't serve us, why it doesn't serve us, how it happened, yada yada. Very tired right now, by the way, so if I say anything that doesn't make sense, that's why. Instead, do this. Fuck your past. Forget your past. And not forget it literally in every sense of the word. But to me, the way I perceive quantum leaping, it's a detachment from your past. It's a detachment from your ideas of who you are. And it's hard. It's hard. But at the same time, it's very easy. It's a decision. You decide now in this moment that you are who you say you are. Nothing else. Nothing more, nothing less. You are just who you say you are. You are who you define yourself to be. Our past, look at your past, man. If you're like me, if you're like any other human being out there, I bet you your past is probably a crazy concoction of shit that's happened to you, negative beliefs about yourself, bullying, I don't know, shit that your parents have told you about who you're supposed to be in life, what your teachers have told you, your failures, your successes, everything all mushed into one crazy mess that is you. And where does that leave you? What I'm trying to say, and also what Sabrina is trying to basically say, as per my understanding, is rather than trying to tackle something, which is very much worth it, but still difficult to do and very time consuming, take this time now, this moment, to not define yourself by your past behaviors, by who you were, even if that version of you existed 30 minutes ago. Not anymore. Accept responsibility for it, should there be consequences, but the version of you that's accepting responsibility for it is not the same version of you that existed 30 minutes ago. It's a process. It's not like, I mean, if you're incredible and exceptionally talented at this, it might be the case that now you decide, boom, I'm a person that goes to the gym, and you just go to the gym now for the rest of your life, and you're one of those people. Personally, I've struggled. I've defined myself as that. I do it. I fuck up. But this technique helps me get my shit back together, because it tells me what I need to do, and it tells me that it's possible. It is possible. And it's a mental game. It's a mental exercise. Looking back, I've used it unknowingly in the past. I'd go to work, I struggled with my confidence there, and I'd switch it on. And then there'd be a moment where I had social anxiety, or I fucked up, I put my foot in it, and I said something, or I made a mistake, and all of my customers saw, but you get back on the horse. You do it again. You define yourself again, and boom, you go. You might fuck up. Your strength is in knowing that you can choose to define yourself and try again. Try again. Try again. Going with a pure heart, try again. Before you know it, so much time has passed, but you've accumulated stories based upon the truth that you tell yourself. That it doesn't matter what happened to you all those years ago in your childhood. I mean, sure, it exists, but it doesn't have a hold on you. At least not in the way that it would had you spent time just sitting there and dwelling on it and how much pain it causes you. The ideal scenario, we grow up, we experience our childhood, we realize, oh no, stuff is going wrong, let me go to therapy, heal, proceed to live life in a seamless, perfect way. But it doesn't work like that. I think the majority of us know that. So instead, what's accessible to all of us? quantum leaping. Check your blind spots. Have people around you that can check your blind spots. Use that instead. That's what I do. I've known for a while that I need to help myself, because I couldn't get therapy for years, for about 4 years. But what I did with that, with my lack of therapy, I stayed stuck in my problems. I would analyze, I would try and therapize myself, right? And don't get me wrong, I learned a lot, but you learn more through action, trying things, doing things, reflecting, as opposed to just reflecting. There's a time and a place for both, but I spent so much time just reflecting that I could never get any real answers. You need to give yourself real questions to create real answers, and that comes from diving into the future, not recklessly, but boldly. Tell yourself who you are, or the real version of you, or who you wish to be, and that's it. That's who you are. So behave as such, because that's who you are. You fuck it up, you act like you're not in alignment with that, well, screw it, have a cry and then try again. Define yourself again and go, try again. That will push you into the future more than therapy or a lack of therapy will. I still am a huge advocate for therapy. I wanted to be a psychologist for a long time, like a therapist, but a lot of us, like I said, don't have access to it. And we still want to make change on ourselves. We still want to be better. We don't know how. Don't spend time trying to figure out what happened, why it happened, through the psychology of everything, because you will exhaust yourself. And sometimes there is no clear answer, and sometimes, most of the time actually, we are not the best judges of why and what happened exactly. Or if not that, it's hard to figure it out on your own. Diet. I guess that's a pretty good example. My sugar addiction, right? So I would say I have a sugar addiction. I really struggle with my sugar consumption. Ever since I've had some sort of childhood trauma, sugar has been a crutch for me. You know, I need to go to therapy and I need to undo that. I need to unravel that. I need to figure out how I can like intercept it and all of that, right? How much time passes now? Months. Years of damage, of leaning on that crutch, on that limiting belief that I cannot change unless I have therapy. I was limiting myself. You know what got me in shape? You know what got me to get my shit together? Being broke. Losing my money and realizing that I couldn't afford to spend whatever I had left on sugar that I actually needed. Genuine, healthy food. That's what whipped my ass into shape. So it turns out I can do it. It turns out I can not eat sugar. It's what you tell yourself. Since getting money, I fucked up a little bit, but something has changed in me. Something has changed. I don't eat sugar the way that I do. And I've had a PMS, I've had a whole period. Something's changed. There is so much power in you. Tell yourself. So spend time thinking about that. Spend time creating your future with what you tell yourself in the present, as opposed to pondering over the past and what could have been. The past isn't going to bring you your future. The present will. Use it wisely. Simply put, step 1, scratch the past. You were clingy, you were desperate, you were, I don't know, sad, you were a fat girl, you identified as that, or whatever. Like, doesn't exist anymore. It did exist, but you don't associate with that version of you anymore. Boom, gone. Who are you now? Who are you now? Who is the future version of you that is starting now? What is this person? What is this version of you? What is their foundation, if you will? For me, example, future me. I see her. She's got a nice body. She's got really good confidence. I like that. Ooh, is that long red hair I see on her? Okay. Is she really social? Okay. So what does present me look like in order to become her? How do I resonate with her? With what I've got right now? I do go to the gym. I do make the healthy choice. I sleep at a good time. I shower every day. I I say yes to meeting new people. See what I mean? I watch videos that help me with my mindset, that tell me what actual confidence is. I do things to build my confidence in myself. I look after my hair. Heck, I dye it red. You see what I mean? Really stupid examples for some of these things, but lo and behold, you do said things, you can say to yourself, I am a confident person. I am social. I'm really fucking intelligent. You know, you can say these things to yourself because everything you do is in alignment with that truth. Because you've decided. You've said so. This is the version that exists. Not that. I mean, it was there, but it's... Life is too short. Like, don't be attached to some version of you that doesn't serve you and who you want to become. Like, why would you do that? It's not about not accepting responsibility for who you've been, or like not accepting responsibility for your mistakes, but don't be bound by them. Don't be bound by who you were. Like, look at the mistakes you made as a toddler or as a young kid. I was an arrogant prick at the age of 11. But if I was bound by that now, I wouldn't know how to pat myself on the back. I'd be too bloody terrified of being proud of myself. Like, with the mistakes that I made, like, we don't bind ourselves to that. So why are you binding yourself to the version of you that you were like a year ago, or like 6 months ago, or 2 days ago? What does it matter? You think that, oh, you've hit 18, you stop learning. No, you don't. You just meant to know what's going on. You meant to just be an adult. You meant to have your confidence figured out. Or by the age of 30, you need to know who you are. No, you don't. Maybe you have an idea. Maybe you've tried on a version of you, but maybe that version of you didn't actually serve you as good as you thought it would. Let go of it. Let go of it. So what? Your life, your timeline, you know what's right for you. Redefine yourself on your own terms. Baby, that's what it's about. I'm sorry, if you're not defining yourself on your own terms, whose terms are you defining yourself on? I think it's a fair question. Perfectly valid. I think it'd be a shame to spend your whole life defining yourself on other people's terms. Don't do that. When we're kids, that's what happens. You know, naturally. But I think what also should be naturally is the redefinition of ourselves. The freedom of redefinition. Why is that only accessible to artists when they want to release a new album? No. No. You can do that too, honey bunch. You can do that today. Might not feel like it, but you can. Somebody wants you to make a speech tomorrow. You can't do that. You're not prepared. What? No, yes you can. Dare to be delusional. It'll be fun. Trust me, I tried. Desperate times, desperate measures, baby. I kind of got to this point, like a while ago, where I just said to myself, I was like, why would I believe in anything that doesn't serve me? Like, why would I believe in a reality that doesn't serve me? Because that just sounds depressing. And I understood it. Like, it's very easy to understand on a practical level. Emotionally, it's another thing. Like, if you're literally asking why, well, societal conditioning, fear, you want to please people that you really care about. But let's be real. But why? Let's talk about the long-term consequences of believing in a reality that does not serve you. Let's see. Sounds like depression. You get the gist. You're just gonna be limiting yourself with the limiting beliefs of what you can and cannot do based upon the amount of help that you've had and however much trauma you have experienced. Pretty sure trauma none of us really choose trauma, do we? I don't know of anyone that's chosen trauma. Pretty sure trauma is something that happens to us, okay? So with that being said, you're gonna limit your life experience because of what someone else has done to you? Or because of shit that has happened that you had no control over? And you're gonna choose to limit your life experience because of that. I do want to say, I'm not disregarding things that are like genuine. Like if someone has PTSD, for example, I'm not just gonna be like, snap out of it, doesn't exist. Like, I'm not heartless. But what I'm trying to say is that there are things that we hold on to, identities that we hold on to, identities that perhaps we have created just to survive those moments. But they don't actually serve us now, and we're attached to them because we think that that's who we are now. But it's like, no, that's just who you were in that moment because that's who you needed to be to save yourself. You're not saving yourself now. You don't need to be saving yourself now. You need to be living. You need to be finding a way to live in the future and healing. And because we're so attached to these ideas of our identities, we don't allow ourselves to be open to what the world actually has to offer us. It's almost like we're telling ourselves that we don't deserve it. Why? Why don't you deserve it? Honey, the world will catch up. You deserve it. I'm not going to go into detail. Sometimes we manifest things that are greater than what we perceive possible for ourselves. And they just fall into our lives and we're like, what? For me? Universe? Seriously? But we're like, okay. We go with it. We kind of doubt it a little bit in the back of our minds. We're like, no, this can't be real. Like, what? Imposter syndrome or something, you know? And maybe we lose it. But you know what happens? Soon after, you become the version of you that really and truly did deserve it. Because you realize that you deserved it the whole time. You just couldn't see it until the universe handed it to you on a huge fucking platter and then took it away. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, sometimes we're so stuck in our ways of seeing the world that we don't realize that we're the ones keeping ourselves from being and feeling free. Set yourself free. Okay, I'm tired, so I'm gonna go. Check out her video though. Sabrina, I don't know how to pronounce that. Weibel? Weibel. I hope she gets more views on this. This is a good video. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched a little bit and then it was like, ooh, inspiration. So here we are.